all for it, because at the end of the day, you may know something I don't know and never think of, or I may know something you don't know and never think of. So,
Mhm.
why not build that relationship with the other people in your area?
Just because you spent a couple hours watching it doesn't mean that guy didn't go through hell in order to get to where he was at. So it's really hard, very easy to fall into the whole get rich quick, type of deal.
It can definitely be great. It's just you have to want it, and you have to be willing to do pretty much whatever it takes to make it work, because a lot of times the phone isn't going to ring. A lot of times, you're not going to get the email notifications that somebody was checking out your website and wants some information. What do you do in those times? Maintain your equipment. You make sure everything's ready to go, so when somebody does call, you're ready.
With you 100%. And if we can share, if we can talk to, if we can help anybody just by watching and get steering them in the right direction, then it was worth every single second. Yo, what is going on, YouTube? This is Josh. We're here at American AF Dumpster Rentals in Dallas. We're doing interview number 2 so far. We have done a couple interviews with some awesome dumpster guys, some brothers in the trash business. And here we go. We got another one, Lucas Renad with RightWay Dumpsters out of Wellsville, Kansas. What's going on, Lucas?
Not a whole lot, man.
Man, I appreciate you being here, dude. Like when I posted it on Facebook, I posted about, I talked about doing some real interviews with some guys and just kind of talking business and getting backstories. I think you reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd love to be on there, or let's talk, or something like that," right? I mean, you kind of wanted
Yeah,
to tell your
yeah,
story a little bit.
yeah. I posted a little bit on there on the post, and then or commented on the post, and then I think we talked a little bit through Messenger and set up an appointment. So
Yeah. So I appreciate. First of all, I appreciate you because there's a lot of people that just not, when it comes to business, they're just, they don't want to really discuss it. It's kind of like a, if I give away too many secrets, my competitor's going to find me, all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you
right.
kind of opening up and sharing your business with us and talking to us about your history and giving us a little feedback about yourself.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, that's how I learned, watching your videos, and, some of the other guys that post a lot, Clayton, John Cook, watch all you guys' stuff. So, I mean, if you're not sharing, you're kind of missing an opportunity, I think.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I mean, all I know is a little bit that we talked to Messenger, but tell me a little bit about yourself, about Right Away Dumpsters, and we'll start from there.
Yeah, so I originally was in Central Florida in Lakeland, right between Tampa and Orlando. I was working for a great company. They treated me and my family well, made good money with them. And just one day, kind of out of the blue, man, I started thinking, what can I do with my efforts that I've seen reward this company? And got on YouTube, sitting at my desk, how do I make money with a truck and a trailer? And just started watching videos, man. Your videos came up. The lug away junk removal, that came up. The dumpster rental junk removal demolition thing, kind of got the idea in my head. I'm a YouTube boomer, if that's what you want to call them. I'm fine with it. It's been good to me. So started that. It was Top It Off Junk Removal and Demolition in Florida. Started that in November of 21. That did really well, really fast, and I was very grateful for that. Ronnie Knuckles built the website, helped me with SEO and all that good stuff, and then just built relationships. I mean, I've always been big on quality and putting it into the junk removal and the demolition, and even the dumpster rental, as simple as it is, just providing quality to the customers goes a long way. And I've had good success with it so far. My wife and my family were on vacation out here in Kansas. My wife has family out here, and then we kind of fell in love with it, just the laid back, kind of country atmosphere, and decided why not give it a shot. So
Mm.
basically closed everything down in Florida. Had an employee that was going to take over and run things. He decided to go a different direction. So shut everything down there, started from the ground up here again. January 10th of this year is when Right Away Dumpsters officially started. And since then, it's just been great, building connections and, different people in the industry, learning from the mistakes I made in the first business, how to go about things in a more correct way. I won't say the right way yet, of course, because I haven't been in business long enough to be saying I'm doing anything right. So just going about it in a different way, just trying to educate myself on different practices and getting my procedures nailed down and how I want the business to look going forward.
Sure. I mean, you can never stop learning at the end of the day, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how big
Right.
or small you are. I mean, you can always kind of educate yourself and keep on growing. So, at what size were you when you left Florida? Like, what did you leave behind, or what did you shut down over there?
So when I left Florida, we were doing. I had basically myself and a helper, and then I had a whole separate crew. We primarily did interior demolition, like that seemed to be our niche. We were good at it. We had customers that would tell us, hey, the demolition was the most pleasant part of this whole job because of our dust control, just because of our, our care that we gave to their property. But as far as what I left behind, um, I had 3 employees plus myself, so we were running 2 crews, um, all kinds of demolition tools and all that. Multiple dump trailers. I think we were up to 3. We were still running dump trailers at that point. I had no idea about the roll off trailers or any of that stuff, but and we were doing close to 35 to 40 grand a month. In junk removal, demolition, and very little on the dumpster rental side. I'd rent out a dump trailer here and there, but to say that it was any part of a major part of our business, it definitely wasn't. I was kind of just dipping my toe in the water at that point.
Mm.
So, I mean, I think we were doing quite a bit of business for a business that was at that time less or a little over a year old when I hired 2 employees and basically fielded a whole nother crew. So
So, what made you? Okay, so you in Florida, you're doing a mixture of the different things, kind of things that all kind of work together, right? The demo,
right.
the junk removal, a little bit of dumpster, and the dump trailers. So, what made you say, okay, well, let's focus for the most part? I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, unless you have other websites as well. But what made you focus more towards the dumpster side of it, which was probably the least big in Florida, and it looks like in Kansas City or in where you're at, you're basically focusing 100% on dumpsters, or am I wrong?
No, you're 100% correct. So I am focusing 100% on dumpsters. Primarily, I wanted something I could get into that I could run myself, at least for the time being, because I mean, you can certainly do junk removal by yourself. You can certainly do demolition by yourself. I mean, I did it over a year by myself, so it can be done. It's just very taxing, to
Hmm.
try to keep up with everything. And, I already had heavy duty trucks and all that stuff. So, I mean, it was basically just getting into a roll off setup and buying a number of dumpsters, and just going about it that way. I just didn't want, as I'm getting older, I'm 38, I'll be 39, in November, just trying to do things that are a longer term that I can physically do if I need to. Of course, the plan is not to be running dumpsters till I'm 65, but have the ability something that's a little easier on the body.
Sure.
I would say so. I had known about dumpster rental. Had planned on building more of that in Florida as the guys kind of took off with the demolition and the junk removal, and me line them out in the morning and then go run dumpsters throughout the day. But and eventually I would like to transition this into more of the other you know tied in jobs, I guess you would say. The junk removal and the demolition and things like that. It's just I didn't really know anybody out here, so for me to say, hey, I got to come out here and then immediately find probably at least a helper, at least pretty soon. I just didn't want to have that burden, starting out. So
No, I
that's
completely
why
get
I
it.
was pretty much
Yeah.
just dumpster.
Gotcha. Completely get it. So, and on that note, so you move into a whole new city, you don't really know anybody, and you say, okay, let me start dumpster rentals. Um, Walk me through that. Like, what was your process of immediately, hopefully, getting customers right away? Did you go to Google AdWords side, words part of, I mean, the Google AdWords marketing, or did you just start knocking on doors? Like, how did you start up brand spanking new again, all over again, without really knowing anybody in the area?
So Ronnie and I had talked. Of course, this wasn't like a complete knee jerk decision. It was a 6 to 8 month transition, and we had talked about it. Before I moved, he helped me with some research on what the market looked like here, and kind of the projected success should I market correctly. I never have spent any money on Google Ads. Um, my thing was just collaboration, man.
Okay.
Like I've always been big on it. And there's another guy out here that my relatives know that runs dumpsters, and they introduced us. I got to kind of pick his brain about it in the area, and get some feedback from him. Actually, ended up he was nice enough to let me ride with him before I ever purchased any equipment. Come ride in my truck with me. He's got a Cam Concept trailer. He's like, see what it's about, see if you like it before you invest in it. He's like, he was an open book, which is fantastic, and we're still friends. We talk just about daily, and this is a person I met less than a year ago that had no idea who I was. The first time I met him was when I showed up to ride with him on his dumpster route.
Wow.
So, um, just building connections like that. I've always had a kind of a knack for sales. So, just getting started, getting the equipment, getting my pricing nailed down and things like that, and then just marketing it. Facebook Marketplace. Um, running as stupid as it sounds, because it's 2024, we're running Craigslist ads. That's something a lot of people overlook in their marketing, and there's still a lot of people that go to Craigslist. Yard signs are big. I've never not had success putting signs out. Certainly, if you get a job, hey, ask a customer, you mind if I stick a sign in your yard? I'll pick it up when I pick the dumpster up, just to get the name out there. And that was really my focus, was just getting the recognition, to kind of build some traction, which was tough, I will say, because I started, like I said, in January, and going from a basically tropical climate to a snowy tundra out here in January. It was
Right,
a
right.
transition for sure. This was my first true winter, I would call it, this last winter, and it was a test for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine, man. That's a big difference as far as
Yeah,
geographical areas. But so let's talk about. So you mentioned a couple things I want to touch on. So you mentioned the Cam Concept. So I'm kind of curious. So you rode along with a guy who has a Cam Concept hook lift trailer, and you
yep.
went the route of a Max XD. Walk me through like if if this guy, which you're friends with to this day, if you guys both had the same type of dumpsters, and you can help each other out, but he probably can't hook up your dumpsters, and you can't really help him out, right? Because you have two different
Right.
setups. Okay. Why
Yeah.
why go or why not go the Cam Concepts route, or why'd you go with Max XD? Was it just local? Was it easier to acquire? Was it a cost thing, or
This is not a dig at Max XD or Cam Concepts, but I could get into the Max D setup with more dumpsters for a lower cost than I could the Cam Concept.
correct?
If it was an apples to apples, price wise, absolutely I would have went with the Cam Concept. It would have made 100% sense to do that. It was just at the time, with what I had to invest to get this started, especially being new to the area, I didn't want to be into it, you know, a ton of money getting, a good number of dumpsters plus, a an expensive roll off trailer, which they're great trailers, but
That looks a little
I
heavy.
mean, complete transparency, I just couldn't afford it.
No, no, no. Yeah, I
so,
get it. I completely
so,
get it. That dumpster looks a little heavy right there.
which one?
Can you see it on the screen?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm on your Facebook page right now. I thought you can see. Um, well, I'm on your
Oh,
Facebook
is that
page,
the
and
one?
there's a dumpster full of looks like dirt. Layers upon layers of dirt.
Yeah, is that the one at the landfill?
Yeah,
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad, man. That one was, I want to say 3.5 tons.
really? Is that dirt then,
Yep.
or what is it? Is it
Oh, it was like construction debris, but it was like from an older 1920s house with plaster and all that stuff in it. So, it had some weight to it.
okay?
I've since then done a load that was 5.7 tons.
Okay. That's. You. What do you got? A 16K GVWR trailer, or 14K?
Yeah, yeah, mine's derated to 14,399, but it's built as a 16K.
Okay. Yeah. So it should definitely still handle that. I would imagine.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it
but
dumped
yeah.
it. It picked it up, dumped it. Didn't seem to have any problems. So
Did you buy a package deal from X60 then, or did they
I
offer
did.
a pack? Okay.
I bought it from a dealer in Texas. I think they're down in Perry. Um, I bought a trailer and 6 dumpsters. I ended up with 4 of the 6 foot side, 20 yard, whatever you want to call them, and 2 of the 4 foot side. I've
Okay.
since added one. I've since added a 20 yard after that, so I have five and two now. Five of the big ones, two of the small ones.
So you got 7 total dumpsters.
Yep. And last year, not really knowing what I was getting into, I bought a 7x14 dump trailer, kind of to replace or get into what I was doing in Florida, but I bought it out here, so I've got technically eight if you consider a dump trailer a dumpster, but um, technically eight that I can rent out if I need to.
Okay. So I was just scrolling through your website. So you said Ronnie Knuckles with Spearcrest built your website. Is it Spearcrest, right?
Yep. Yep. He
Cool.
did.
He's been doing so. So how long ago did he do your website? That was a year or two ago, right?
No, so he did this one in, I think, January of this year.
Okay, that's right. Okay, that's right. I got you.
Yeah.
Um,
So
it's
he
a
did
very
the
good
other
looking website.
one. Yeah, he did the other one for Top It Off junk removal. That was in June of 22, or maybe it went live in June, but somewhere around that time, somewhere around summer of 22 is when he built the other one.
Nice, nice. Okay. And so, do you have any kind of software? It says book now. Is that like a contact form, or does it actually tie into a back end software?
So mine for now is just a contact software,
Okay.
um, where they can fill out the form, it'll submit it to my email, and then I contact them, and get all that. Again, being new to this, I'm sure there's much more efficient ways. Trying to learn through some of that, and learn the hard way, I guess you'd say. Um, but yeah, that for
No, there's
now
nothing
is
wrong
just
with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So how do you track their? I mean, you just it's all manual.
yeah. So everything I do for now is manual, as far as bookkeeping, as far as scheduling, as far as just really got, I wouldn't say automated, but definitely more streamlined with my rental contracts. Those go out, get emailed to the customer, signed and sent back, before we ever schedule delivery, or once they've picked a date, great, but I get a signed contract before delivery. Um, Payment systems, I found a good one, basically just making a post that somebody recommended. It's worked really well for me. I know everybody kind of has their preferences and what they use and all that, but I can process a credit card pretty much from anywhere, send a receipt right from the device, and move on about my day. Same thing with overages. I can process any overage fees and send a receipt right there and be done with it.
Sure, sure. Plug them, plug them. Let's hear it. Who is it, or what do you use?
Spot On is who I use for my credit card processing.
Okay,
So they give you the availability to either you can eat the processing fee, you can split it, or you can pass it on to the customer.
okay,
So I don't do any type of delivery fee or anything like that, which most people don't. So I pass on the credit card processing fee if a customer wants to use that. Of course, like most people in the industry, I get a card to keep on file till I dump it. Cover any overage or anything like that. But I like them because they handle all of like the PCI compliance.
mm-hmm.
They do all that stuff, so I don't have to worry about any of that. Customer service has been fantastic. The device didn't cost anything. I think it was, I don't know, maybe $100 for the device and shipping. Setup was a breeze. So the guy I was talking to you that I rode with, he actually transitioned over to them after I started using them because I was telling him about it. A lot of the features and all that. He's like, well, hell, I'm paying sometimes $800-900 a month in credit card processing fees. That's 2 to 3 rentals a month that
Mm.
basically going out the window as far as money goes. So he switched over to them, has loved it. It works well for us.
Nice, nice. All right. So been in business since January. What do you think one of your biggest struggles are in business up until this point in this business?
And the dumpster rental business, or
Yeah,
like from
and
Florida to now, or what?
in right away or starting right away dumpsters or your dumpster business basically.
For me, honestly, it's such a technological time and a social media time. I struggle a lot with making sure content stays up to date and getting videos and getting the pictures and updating pictures on Google and just keeping up with all that stuff. I was a manual machinist for 12 years, so I mean I'm like the hands-on machinery type. So I mean I love that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting making it a habit or a discipline to consistently do the posting and just to really build that brand recognition. That's honestly what I struggle with the most.
Yeah, I couldn't say that I'm even good at that, to be honest with you. As much as I'm like doing different things online, I think the updating my own company Facebook page or my own, I do have a ton of pictures on Google My Business, but um, it could be a lot more. Every little bit helps, right? Every single post, every single update that you do on GMB could hope potentially rank you up even higher. So,
Right.
I think we all struggle with that sometimes because it's just we're so into just getting the job done, especially on busy days. You're just going from one to another, and you're just trying to get the job done. It's like, oh shoot, I mean, that would have been a good picture to take, or that would have been a good video to take, and instead, I'm just trying not to like get crushed by my machine, behind me or something like that, not to lose some fingers. So I get that, man. And what do you think? Like, I guess one of your biggest successes is so far. What do you think has been successful for you as far as like either it be a marketing tactic or some sort of networking thing that you did, or something that you feel that could have been maybe possibly turning point in this business to actually show you that hey, this business can be successful here in Kansas.
I would say honestly, my biggest success would be networking with the guy that I rode with, because that's been like for me that's been such a great relationship, because there's been times, even though we don't have similar equipment or universal equipment, there's been times he had to go out of town, or he was overloaded or sold out, and of course I was just starting out, so the phone wasn't ringing off the hook. He called me, hey, you got a 20 yard? Great, I need it over here at this customer. Give him a little kickback out of the job, help me get out there, get comfortable with the equipment, get comfortable with the business. Um, I've helped him with things as far as like the business side. He's helped me with things. Just making those connections, man, I think is really the biggest thing anybody can do for their business. There's so many people that are like you said, don't want to talk about it, or don't want to, you know, share any secrets or any tricks or anything. I'm all for it, because at the end of the day, you may know something I don't know and never think of, or I may know something you don't know and never think of. So,
Hmm.
why not build that relationship with the other people in your area?
I did an interview with Heath Treasure. He's actually going to be at the show in November, but now I'll tag it in this video somewhere. But he was talking about it doesn't matter how big or how powerful or how not powerful really, but how big a company is or how much money they bring in or how little they bring in. You can always learn from somebody, no matter their size, no matter their experience. You can learn from somebody who just started out yesterday because they might have previous past experiences in other businesses or in life experiences that you don't have
Right,
versus you can talk to Bill Gates and get a some sort of piece of advice from him. So it's so true. It doesn't matter the second that we start believing that I guess we're or our business is bigger or better than somebody, so somebody smaller than us doesn't have anything that to give us. That's just you might as well just close your doors, because if you're not
right.
open to advice, if you're not open to changing things up or just listening to somebody else's life experiences or business experiences, then what's the point of even doing that? That's why networking is super important. I always stress too, like networking. Once I realized that like literally networking is the door to open up opportunities, that opens opportunities, I guess, for you, in any kind of setting. um, just like you have somebody by you, we have a group here where we kind of talk back and forth. Matter of fact, they're blowing up the text message. I see the text messages coming through while I'm doing this interview. It's like they're blowing up the chat. But we talk so much, and it's always good business, like, the landfills slammed full. Let's not go to that landfill today. Or, just today alone, one of
Right.
the guys asked me, how does he get an account at another landfill? And I hooked him up with a guy who gives him an account, who can get him an account for like 10 different landfills in DFW that somebody gave me a year or two ago. That really changed
Right.
my business. So, just super important network.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
Absolutely, man. One of the things I laugh at, pretty often when I see it in the groups, is people will post their equipment for sale, like, "Oh, I won't sell to anybody within 100 miles of me."
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? You don't know what an opportunity you're missing. You can't do all the work. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter if you have 100 dumpsters and I have 500 dumpsters. I can't do all the work, and neither can you.
Right.
So
Right.
you're missing the opportunity of somebody. You know what equipment they have because you sold it to them. You know what it's capable of. So why would you not entertain that? I mean, they're going to buy it anyways. The way I look at it, like if they're that committed,
Mm-hmm.
like you've probably seen, I posted my stuff for sale lately, wanting to go standard rail. I had a guy that was actually a customer that was interested in getting into it. He rode along with me, decided he wanted to wait, which was fine. Had another guy that was 5 minutes down the road, stopped by the house and looked at everything. Like, if you have this, I know what you can do. So I can use that to my advantage. I can help you, and it'd be something greater than I could have imagined or you could have imagined. So,
Yep. Yep. Only reason would be if you're selling a really shitty piece of equipment, you don't want a guy coming back trying to kick your ass.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
that's true.
no, but it just doesn't make sense, man. There's just a lot of things sometimes when you go in those big group settings. I thought you were gonna say, the second that somebody posts something for sale, there's always about four guys like, "Why are you selling? You getting out of business? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
What is it?
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, oh look, another guy down or something like that, or somebody who didn't do their research, or it's always negative sometimes, but not in our
Yeah.
group. Dumpster Rentals 101, we try to be 100% positive all the time. We help each other out. Um, no, but anyway, uh, the business. So you've got. I love the website. Spiritcrest has done a great job. Actually, Ronnie's coming out to the dumpster, and I got to plug the show, man, because again, this is what we're trying. But Ronnie's actually coming out to speak at the Lone Star Dumpster Showcase. So I'm excited to see him, meet him in person. He's been pretty big apparently in the junk removal. And I guess he's doing a
Yeah.
lot of websites in the dumpster rentals. I see him popping out new dumpsters every now and then. And I've got a good buddy who's going to be unveiling his brand new website real soon by Ronnie. So I'm super impressed in what he does. I love your website.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet Ronnie. Actually, I've been doing business with him since 2022. I've talked to him, God knows how many times on the phone and video calls and all that. I've never met him,
Mm,
so nice to actually meet him in person. One of the reasons I'm going down there, definitely like one of the keynote speakers is the Profit First, Mike McCallowic's guy.
yep.
So
Yep.
read a couple of his books. Definitely want to hear what he has to say.
I've got an interview with him on the 25th or something like that in September. So that'll be kind of cool
Okay.
to sit down and talk to him too. I'm excited about that. But yeah, man, love it. So where do you see yourself in the next five? So you talking about you want to get out of Max XD, or you want to go standard rails? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Are you looking at a standard rail trailer? Are you looking at a roll off truck? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for now. Definitely a standard roll off trailer. The plan being to go, cable hook combo dumpsters to kind of eliminate the limitations, I guess you'd call it. Probably going to run 16 feet, I would say, or be able to haul up to 16 feet. That seems to be a pretty desirable size in the area that I'm in. A lot of tight driveways, a lot of close houses and stuff like that. Not in the town that I'm in, but in the primary markets that I service. So I'll stay fairly on the shorter side. Of course, the plan, to be multiple trucks, multiple states. Still have a lot of connections in Florida. Long term would be, once I transition into trucks here, would be to take the trailer and X amount of dumpsters to Florida and get everything started there. And kind of have two of them going. So um, definitely have a lot of ties to Florida. I mean, I lived there 37 years, so
Mm,
um, yeah, just to branch out and grow it to whatever it can be. I mean, I'm not putting a set limitation on it. I just want to see what it can do. So
interesting. So why? So if you go from Max XD to a standard rail trailer, I mean, I guess you mentioned it mainly because you want more of a, I guess, standard dumpsters kind of all work with each other. Um, I guess some of the guys in some of the groups talk about, going from one trailer to a different trailer or one setup to a different setup is more of a like a cool factor, or just like because all the big boys are doing it. Do you feel that you're limited having a non-standard rail trailer, or do you feel that, I mean, for what you've been doing, what you're doing now, and what you're currently going to be doing in the near future, that Max XD is more than enough and more than sufficient enough?
no, I think it's more than sufficient. I mean, like you touched on, I mean, it's a 16K rated trailer. It has a 22,000 pound winch on it. If I get a max B dumpster that's got more than 22,000 pounds in it, I'm in trouble anyway. So, I mean, it's certainly not limited as far as, what I can do. I mean, I think as of today, I've done 194 rentals to date, and I don't have a single can that's still in the field that I couldn't pick up. Haven't
Mm.
had to call anybody else to come get them. So, I mean, it's done everything I expected it to do. I mean, my only reason for transitioning would be just to get to a more standardized setup for um, the future. I mean, as far as availability of cans, there's a manufacturer that's 40 minutes from me that makes, Max D cans, that makes standard cans. Northland Manufacturing is who it is, but they do a good job. That's who I bought the additional one that I have. It's a fabricated dumpster, so no, I really don't. I don't think there's any issue with the system as far as growth. I mean, I could grow other than just having the speed of loading and unloading, with a hook. Which, I mean, you can probably tell me. I haven't ever done it. I mean, how fast is it?
So I really want to do a side by side compare.
You've done both.
Say again.
I said you've done both. You had the PJ setup, was it?
I had a Lone Star, which is even probably
All
worse than
Star.
PJ. Not that I have anything against PJ, but Lone Star was just, I would never recommend a Lone Star trailer. Everybody knows my hate relationship. I wouldn't even say a love hate relationship. I did not like my Lone Star trailer. But anyways, they might sue me one of these days. But uh, no, so literally, there is no comparison, to be honest with you. Like honestly, and I don't say that just because it's just the hook is so much faster. It's
Right.
I do want to do a side by side comparison, but nobody that has a regular trailer around me wants to do one for with me. Like they just don't want to do it. They're like, no, I'm not. I'm not, they don't want to. They don't even want to see themselves up against it. But it's at least 2/3 faster. And again, I mean, when time is money at the end of the day, it doesn't make that big of a difference. I mean, is it really that difficult for us to get out and grab the cable? I had a wireless until I lost it, but I had a wireless remote, but I still had to obviously get out, turn it all on, um, and had to be out there the entire time with a hook lift trailer and or a hook lift roll off. You could just do it from inside your truck. The only days that it really sucks is when it's 110 degrees outside, or it's
Right.
pouring rain, and it's like, man, this sucks. I could do everything from in the cab. Um, but again, sometimes time is money. So, when you're doing 5, 6, 4, 5, 6 a day, trying to get to the landfill, trying to get to the next customer, those couple of minutes make a huge difference. I think. Is
Yeah,
it
they do.
tens of thousands of dollars worth of a difference? I don't know. That's up to each one of us, I guess, decide, right?
Right.
Um, but I
Yeah, I
I
mean,
started the same way. I started um, with a just a just a ground level trailer, and it got me started. So as much as I talk crap about Lone Star, it literally got my foot in the door. It got me experience. It got me understanding how this business operates. So for that, I appreciate learning the learning curve. Um,
right.
so
You started with dump trailers too, didn't you?
I started
Originally.
with a cargo. Dude, I've done every single step of the way as hard as I possibly could have done it. So, I started with a cargo. I was the hand unload guy, sitting there trying to shovel, 3, 4 tons worth of dirt out of a wire mesh trailer because I had no idea how hard that was. Um,
Right.
and I just wanted to say yes to the customer. So, cargo trailer to dump trailer to roll off trailer to hook lift truck. Only thing I haven't done is a roll off truck with a cable, and at this point, I don't think I ever want to. I like my cable. I like my hooks. I mean, I enjoy my
Yeah.
hooks. Um, but yeah, man. So, uh, again, we talked about business. We talked about like how is do you have? You said you moved here with your wife, I believe.
My wife and kids. Yep.
Okay,
I have a wife and two kids.
she involved in the business, or is it just 100% you?
No, she stays out of it. We have a very good relationship. She's very supportive, but she understands I'm extremely particular about how I like things, and her and I don't always mesh with agreements. She's always been willing to help if I needed it, but she's very headstrong in how she does stuff, and so am I. So we figured it's best if she does her thing and I do mine as far as the businesses are concerned, and we come together at the end of the day and talk about our days like we both had normal jobs.
No, it's really funny too how business how some relationships and handle businesses. I'm the same way with my wife. She's not really she doesn't take part of the business whatsoever. She's not really involved. Like she has her job, and that's how we've always been since we first got married. Like she always had her own thing. I always had mine, and I think that's actually helped our relationship. Because
Yeah,
sometimes spouses shouldn't work together. You know what I'm saying? Um,
no.
so I'm okay with that. All right, very good, man. So is there anything that you think that we may have not have touched on that you want to share? Kind of putting you
Um,
on the spot, I guess, but
yeah, I mean, not really. I know, especially in a lot of the groups, the trailer setups get a bad rep. Um, I haven't had a problem with mine. I will definitely say for any guys that are wanting to start it, it's definitely not a get rich quick thing like everybody thinks it is. Do your research, look into it, connect with somebody local that does it if they're willing to, see if they'll let you ride with them, get an idea of how the business operates, talk to people. I mean, that's the number one thing I would say I could recommend. I know John Cook's video on like his 10 steps of starting a dumpster rental business, or I'm not exactly sure what he called the video, but that helped me a ton. Even having the experience from Florida, just having that guide, of there was a few things in there I'd never really thought about, like getting all the payment options figured out before I started. What payments was I willing to accept and how, and how was all that going to tie together and be beneficial for me and the customer. Um, and it's a great business, for sure. If anybody is looking to get into it, it is a great business.
no, definitely. So that's something that I've tried my best to portray that it's not. There is no such thing as overnight success. Like, you may be online watching somebody on YouTube, right, or whatever, and following someone's journey, and maybe you go down the rabbit hole and you spend a few hours or a couple hours watching videos, but you're literally spending a couple hours of someone's life over the last 4, 5, 6, 10 years, and
Right,
you think, oh yeah, it's overnight. By the time you went to the bed, that guy went from barely feeding his family to driving a Lambo. I don't know, but at the end of the day,
right,
like just because you spent a couple hours watching it doesn't mean that the guy didn't go through hell in order to get to where he was at. So it's really hard, very easy to fall into the whole get rich quick, type of deal. And this is not. This is definitely blue collar, bust your ass. Lots of windshield time, lots of like alone time, driving, thinking. Lots of sleepless nights where how am I going to pay the bills tomorrow, or I've got payroll coming up, or I've got a truck payment, whatever it may be. Um,
right.
so it's not that. However, if you are a hustler, if you have work ethic, if you don't have to if you're the type of person that doesn't need somebody like be over your shoulders watching you, making sure you go to work, making sure you do, if you're the take on responsibility person, and you'll get the job done, well then a blue collar job might be for you. But um being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. um, and being an entrepreneur is like everything for some people. So
Yeah, and a lot of people have the idea, oh, I'm going to start this business. It's a job, and it's a full time job, 7 days a week. There's been plenty of times Sunday morning I'm delivering dumpsters, Sunday afternoon I'm picking them up so I can dump them first thing in the morning when the landfill opens on Monday to deliver them to somebody else.
right.
My wife understands a lot of Saturdays I work because that's when a lot of homeowners are home and that's when they want to do stuff to their house. So
Mm.
Friday afternoons and Saturdays are probably my busiest time right now, along with Mondays, going back to pick up. So, but yeah, I mean, it can definitely be great. It's just you have to want it and you have to be willing to do pretty much whatever it takes to make it work because a lot of times the phone isn't going to ring. A lot of times, you're not going to get the email notifications that, somebody was checking out your website and wants some information. What do you do in those times? You maintain your equipment. You make sure everything's ready to go. So when somebody does call, you're ready. So
What kind of truck are you hauling a trailer with?
I recently switched. So I started um, with a 2014 Chevy 3500 crew cab long bed. It was a single wheel, not a dually. Just traded to a Ram 2500 regular cab.
Mm.
I found the turning radius is way better. Having a truck and trailer set up right now, it's shorter, so I can get in and out of tighter spots a lot easier. Didn't really lose a ton as far as towing capacity with the setup that I have, anyways, because it's not a 26,000 pound rated trailer or whatever. Um, because the crew cab long bed, anybody that does that full time with one, my hat's off to you if you're getting in and out of neighborhoods with one because it was a challenge for me. But
And you have a
everybody's
gooseneck or a
different.
bumper pull?
Yeah, I have a gooseneck.
Gooseneck. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
but that took some getting used to too because I've pulled bumper trailers since I was 16 years old. This is my first gooseneck trailer I've ever had, and it handles different. Everybody can
Yeah.
say it doesn't. Trailer's a trailer, but it moves different than a bumper pull trailer. So
Yeah, but once you get the hang of it, right? Did you feel that the gooseneck was way better than the bumper pull? Would you rather have a gooseneck now?
yes, because now when I go back and I have to pull my bumper pull dump trailer, I'm all over the place backing that thing up. But the gooseneck, I mean, I can put it pretty much wherever I want to, first shot. If it's a driveway or if it's I got to back into my driveway where I live, usually first try, right in there, and then I'm out. So
Yeah.
that's why I was asking about the speed because with the hook lift, because I'm a numbers guy. So right now, I mean, my fastest time picking up or dropping off a dumpster is about 5 minutes from backing in to having it off the trailer, ready to go. So I was wondering how much faster it actually is. So if
Two
you
and a
get a
half.
chance to
I
do a
would
side
say right. I would say 2.5 to 3 minutes if you're good, and if you all everything else works right. You can drop it off and or pick it up in 2.5 to 3 minutes, and that's including the
okay,
tarp because you can tarp it right from your cab
right,
with a remote.
okay,
But it and same thing with it's just as fast with as a roll off truck if you can back it up properly. If you can back it up pretty quick. Um,
right.
so, and like I said, when I had the roll off, man, I had to get out. I had to unhook the chains. How does yours, PJs? How do they hook? How does the front lock into place? Is it a chain
So
stew
it's just a single point connection with a hook on the very center of the front of the dumpster.
with a chain, right? Or no, just
But
to hook it.
mine just has a cable, so but yeah, same thing.
So you're talking about the winch cable, or it's got another cable.
No, just the winch cable.
So there's no. So you've got the winch cable, and then how else? And then the rear tab where it slides into, right?
Yep.
And then
And then
there's
I
no
have
other.
yeah, I have the locking bars, the
Okay.
Max D locking bars on the front to
So
hold
the
it onto
locking
the
bars
tray.
manually have to literally be there. You can't. There's no electric. It's not electric or anything. You have to manually lock it and unlock it, right?
Right.
Okay.
But
Yeah. So
what I'm doing is like as I'm walking beside the trailer to go back to hook the cable up, I'll either unhook or loosen or tighten the hook on the front because on the Max D's, like once you pull it in there, it'll spring and click it in.
okay.
So it's something you can do as you're rolling the dumpster on, but Just something that makes it a little easier.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
It
So
is one thing to remember for sure.
yeah, yeah. And you were talking about possibly going standard rail. What are your options? What are you thinking about? Where do you want to go as far as if you did a standard rail trailer?
I've looked really closely at the Cougars. Hadn't really looked at like the Nedlands or any of those. I know Texas Pride. You can order a standard rail from them if I'm not mistaken. More than likely, just the information I've gotten about the Cougars and stuff like that, I'd probably go that route. I know a lot of guys like the pony motors with the you're more of a hydraulic lifting system at that point.
Yeah.
I just haven't had a need for it yet. I haven't had my batteries go dead on my Max D. I charge it. Not running a connection in the bed yet. I need to do that still, but I charge them every night and make sure they're fully charged in the morning. I've done as many as 9 loads in a day, and haven't had any issues with it yet. So um,
That does make
I'm assuming.
Sorry, that does make a huge difference though. That whole connection into the bed. It's not a major upgrade, like a very costly upgrade. But once you get it, you never have to plug in at night again. You'll be like, okay, that's kind of nice. Because sometimes I would have left my yard or left my office, and I'm like, oh shit, I wasn't sure if I had plugged it in or not. And then I knew the next day, like I'd have to go all the way back because I would have forgotten how to plug it in. So, but that does
Yeah, I've
make a
got the
huge
cable
difference.
to do it. I just haven't done it yet. It's just a time thing right now, really. I mean, it's one of those things you need to do, but it's not really a necessity right now. So
Sure.
it kind of backburnered, but I definitely need to put it toward the front of the list because it will happen eventually. The batteries will die or they'll get weak or something, and I'll be stuck. So I don't want that to happen.
Oh, you just be one of the guys at the landfill with like a really, really long jumper cables, and you plug it into your under your hood.
Yeah, like, the emergency jumper cable you have on the front of your truck. I'm assuming you still have it.
I do,
The
I do. I love
connection.
that thing.
Yeah,
It actually comes in pretty handy. All right, man, Lucas. Well, look, I we're hitting almost an hour. We've got the presidential debate that I really wanted to go not watch, but um, anyways, I really appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate you being on the channel. I wish you nothing but success, brother, in business and in life. It's just I'm with you 100%. And if we can share, if we can talk to, if we can help anybody just by watching and getting, steering them in the right direction, then it was worth every single second of it. So, again, I appreciate you being here, man.
yeah, no problem. And look forward to meeting you in November. I'll
Absolutely.
be down. That'll
Well,
be
I got some
fun.
free tickets for you, man. If you just reach out to me, I got some free tickets for you. We'll make sure you and whoever you want to bring along with you can get in for free. So,
Okay,
definitely
awesome.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
And one more time for anybody who's looking, what's your website?
RightAwayDumpsters.com.
Perfect. Right dash away or right away?
Right Away Dumpsters is just one word on the website.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And one last thing, really good buddy of mine lives in Kansas City. Big Kansas City Chiefs. Are you a big Kansas City Chief fan?
I am now. Like I didn't watch any football in Florida, man, but coming out here, it's a whole experience. Like everybody out here loves the Chiefs. The family my wife has out here, they're regular game watchers, so we got into it, and we don't really miss a game now. We're planning to go to a game. Never been to a professional football game, so that'll be fun.
I should have asked you
But
that
yeah,
before we started the interview, and we probably would just wouldn't have done an interview then. Just
well, well, disclaimer: I'm not any team's football fan, but we do watch the Chiefs because they are football fans here. So
completely messing with you, man. I love it. All right, man. Again, I appreciate you being here, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
yeah, no
We'll see you in
problem.
November.
All right.